Connecting. Hi, Mike. Hi, Michelle. I see a few more windows connecting.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
Sam.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Barbara. Awesome. All right. Welcome to Untethered Soul Call 3, Part 3. Freeing yourself. And when I write yourself, I write your capital S self, because there's been a lot of reference to that idea in this reading. And I'm referring to that witnessing self that we keep getting guided to. That is like the total shorthand of all this material, is just continually returning to the question of who is watching the drama unfold, who is seeing, who is hearing, who is noticing the conversations in our head, who is having that experience, and then backing up and recognizing that there is a self, capital S self, that is watching the drama play out. And that good news about that is that it's a different perspective. So, first of all, I think everybody has arrived that's going to arrive. Let's revisit what you want the change to feel like as a result. Oh, the recording is paused. That was bad. I started the YouTube recording, but not the Zoom recording. All right, so this is the Untethered Soul, Call 3 of 5, Part 3, Freeing Yourself. And the first question that I have for you is, please revisit and remember what your answer was to that first email. And the question was, what if something could change for you? What do you want that change to feel like? As a result of being exposed to this material, as a result of participating in this conversation and being a part of this group. So revisit that with me. Who's going to go first? Barbara, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. No, I gotta unmute here. Okay. Oh, I'm unmuted.
Oh, you're
Okay.
unmuted. Yeah, you're great.
So for me, it has been hoping for that element of detachment. Not detachment in the cold, sort of, completely isolated, way that we may think of it and sort of paint it as, but the emotional detachment that keeps us healthy and keeps us observing, but not getting overly attached and getting pulled into emotional types of situations, crises, and
Got
so
you. So
and
you want to feel.
what I'm starting to feel actually.
Oh, awesome. So describe it. I am
Well,
feeling what?
so I'd like to say that I'm moving towards more patience and kindness, which is the major objective, as it is continuously so. In order to get results, I'm keeping on that focus. I am finding that getting behind, like I spoke of last, is really, wow, that makes all the difference. And I'm practicing. Life is practicing, right? Letting go. And it's working. And there's times when I don't think about it, I completely forget and I blank out and get into my stuff and or someone else's stuff. And but I'm picking this up, and it's evolving, it's progressing. And it takes 3 weeks to form a habit, and so we will have the benefit of this. So yes, I'm finding it's really happening and it's really working, and that has been the goal. Thank
So
you.
that's brilliant, because at first you said, you wanted to feel a kind of detachment or less attachment in that unhealthy way. And then you said the feeling is of letting go. You're actually experiencing a letting go.
Yes,
So could you just touch yourself somewhere where you're feeling the letting go occur?
that's very important. So I have also, as you know, have been a student, not a student, but in a therapy practice using EMDR, right? And you're tapping, and it's often, where does it formulate a lot of the emotion physically? It's the gut. And so for me, it is the gut.
You
And
feel
one,
it here?
absolutely, diaphragm and on down,
So you
into,
feel the letting go there?
yes, I feel the uptightness there, and I feel the letting go there. Yes,
Got it.
it's principally in that area. And once I'm able to control that or move it around, then the rest follows suit.
Awesome. Snaps, Barbara. Thank you.
And thank you. Yes, this is great. This more often.
Awesome. Thank you. Who's next? Is there a hand in the air? Hi, Michael. Is Michael next? Like I'm sticking his face in there. Who's next?
I'll go.
Thank you.
I don't really recall what my initial one was. I believe it had something to do with being less reactive. But right now, today, in this present moment, if I could get anything, what I would want is just those moments where I just get to enjoy the seat. And I feel that also, like I feel tension in my stomach, but when I feel my letting go, it's more like yeah, it's upward. I don't know why. I thought it would be downward, but it's not.
Yes, that's brilliant, especially when you think about, I was trying to find this again this morning. I find myself frantically trying to get prepared for my call, and I have been my pen has been flying out of my hand or rolling off of every surface all last night and all this morning. So, I mean, it's part of how I've been feeling too. Like, oh, I want to capture all these ideas. I have to get them organized. But there was this one thing that said, don't look down, look up. Do you remember that? And I'm going to show you something today that I feel explains why you're having that intuition. So is there anything else that you can add to what that feels like? I loved that.
Well, for me, when I say enjoying the seat, it's more like when I'm able to just step back and be the witness and the seat of consciousness and not be, all tied up in those little meaning making
And
machines.
what does it feel like?
God, it feels like floating on the calmest sea you could imagine on a beautiful sunny day with just the perfect temperature.
Oh, bravo. Floating on the calmest sea.
Yeah.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you. When I really find myself stepping back like that, both of you have said that so far this morning, I will often have these like spontaneous giggles that will come out where before it didn't feel amusing. You're like, when I'm in it, I might not experience it as amusing. It's more the drama, the psychodrama. So it might be funny sometimes, but a lot of times it's not. But when I'm in that backed up position and I'm watching, I do feel spontaneous laughter come up a lot. All right, thank you. Who's next? We can waste time waiting.
All right, I'll go.
Thank you.
Okay. Unmute. Unmute.
Yeah, you're good, Michelle.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Okay. My initial wanting from this was freedom, butterflies, more ease in my mind, peace, love. And those were the things. And so I've just been really observing myself and all the chatter that goes on, and then catching myself, and then talking about the chatter and like kind of cooling it down and shifting it, and then maybe getting more curious of like, well, why is that? I think one of the chapters I didn't quite get through all of the material, almost, so that's just what it is. but the chapter about the thorns and removing the thorn. And, I was in my garden this morning and was, went down a little rabbit hole, not a huge rabbit hole, but a little rabbit hole. And I'm like, okay, this is a story I know well. And then I thought, well, where did that start? Like when I was a kid, I didn't get quite to the thing of where it started, but I know it was a long time ago. I don't even know if I need to know what started it, because I think the premise of that is just pull out the thorn. Just pull it out and move on. So I've been really visiting that premise of with just a lot of things that, life is full and lots of things happen every day and every year in and year out, different scenarios, different things, and some is absolutely lovely and some is very painful. And I thought, well, okay, don't have to maybe talk about it anymore, but just take out the thorn, so that then when something else kind of floats across, it just then more floats across. I don't know if that answer is, I might have
No,
gone
it's
off on a
brilliant. Thank you, Michelle. And the thing about the thorn analogy, which I really loved, especially when it got into the drama of all the ways that you can protect yourself from that
Right.
thorn getting touched, because then it's going to poke you and poke you. So all of this mishigas, as they say in Yiddish,
Yeah.
to protect your thorn,
Yeah.
right? Instead of pulling it out. And the pulling it out, because this is a part of the material that we were looking at here in part 3, is there is that moment of pain. And
Sure.
that is what we're avoiding by pulling that thorn out, is that there is that, you got to splinter. You got to get the needle and poke around a little bit and the tweezers and there's that moment where you have to, the glass that's in there, you have to let yourself have that experience
Yeah.
so that you're free.
Well, yeah, and also it's like, the attachment to the story. And so that attachment to the story and to the pain of the story, it's like, no, but I'm just hypothetically, but I want that. I want to keep that. I want to keep that. That's comfortable, even though it's painful, rather than, here's uh, the road, you can go A, B, take out the thorn. You don't have to experience any of this
That's
pain
right.
like that
That's
any
right.
ever again. And some people, we all are the people of the people will choose like, no, I want to keep the thorn in because I like it. Whatever.
Absolutely. And I know you're not the only one who
Yeah.
understands that story that's going on inside our head. How we get into this system of justifying it as our existence. And I so appreciate that your mind, got curious about the childhood pattern. It's coming up for me big time as well. And I will address it a little bit. And I want to show you something about that. I feel that the very first primary block, because in this material they were saying fear, and that fear is a block in the flow of energy, and that very first block in the flow of energy is our childhood pattern.
Yeah.
And for most of us, it's still operating, maybe less as we've done our personal work. Still, it's the first block, and it's the first contortion, distortion. And I love how the material talked about the energy block, forms this block in the flow of energy, the flow of energy in our heart, and I think we all have that sense of jadedness that's coming with time, how we can feel closed off, particularly at the heart. And the heart is where the healing happens. The heart is that purification process, but the block, the energy block, the fear keeps us in a lower vibration. I'm going to show you something that will illustrate that. All
Okay.
brilliant. And I
Yeah.
just want to say one other thing, that I love how the guidance in this material is not, a lot of times we hear that chatter in our mind, that story that keeps repeating, and then we listen to and we talk about and we justify. It isn't trying to shut that up, which is what we spend a lot of time trying to do. It's backing up and listening from this position and letting go. A lot of times we're like, shut up, quiet down. I've had enough of you. You know, it's like, oh my God, sometimes I'll be like, shut up, I don't want to hear it anymore. That's a voice. I see something else is wanting to bubble up, Michelle.
Yeah, I was just reading, the blockage and the stagnation. And so the, Chinese medicine and so many different healing modalities really talk about this. I think people on this call know this, but I've really been in my work as an acupuncturist and healer. It's like it's just bringing up just how important it is to like continue whatever it is to remove the stagnation, to remove the blockage. Yes, you can pull out the thorn, but then there's still potentially, life is not static. So it goes, and we just need
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
like
that's brilliant,
reminding.
right? There is forms of medicine, Chinese medicine, where you can use tools to help release in the body.
Yeah.
And we're really talking about releasing in the psyche,
Yeah.
right? And the same way. And I love that the simplest counseling we're getting from this material is to relax and release and let go, and then just get used to what it feels like to sort inside ourselves for where that could even possibly occur. It sounds so freakishly simple. Of course it's not, but it's like, I love that how this is the thing about this material that I love is it's really so simple. It just keeps repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, essentially, right? And it brings me back to sorting inside. Where is that seat? What does it feel like? How do I get there? What does it even mean to relax and release? What? So thank you. All right, who's next? Beautiful. Love it. Great. Cheryl, thank you.
Um, it's been super interesting on so many levels. I started this book before, but I'm in a whole, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Hello. And I'm ready, so ready for this book. And all of you and in this path, I so appreciate your wisdom, all of you too, and earlier. So
Oh, I ditto that so much, Cheryl. Thank you for saying that.
But what I'm trying to do is really separate myself, and then so I've been working this week on like trying to have an image in my head of that voice that's constant at me. And sometimes it's me as a child, and sometimes it's this like really kind of grotesque person, just like, and it's so that has been my work, but just being so aware of that voice. And then I've been trying to visualize like just a dial, like just, nope, I'm turning you off, just like turning you off, not going to do it. So, yeah, that's one thing. And
Can I just take a little time out right there?
Yeah.
I really feel you, by the way, exploring this stepped back reality. I really, more so than when we started, like I already feel you have a different relationship with
Yeah.
this idea of separating.
Yeah.
And here's the trick is that it's like a trick of our mind to want to shut it up or turn it off. And yet that isn't really what this material is suggesting we do. It
Okay.
is suggesting we fall back and notice who's watching and who's listening, get situated over here, which is what you're doing. You're developing a relationship with this perspective, your soul that can recognize all of that stuff as objects, and you, the self, the soul of you, is the subject watching and listening. And then in that separation, you might be able to release something, not shush it, or make it stop, but release it like a thorn. Does that sound any different to you?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, yeah. I have, and I got some, some of that, like, just let it flow through you. It's like, oh, there it is, and it's flowing through you. So it's a work in progress for
Oh,
me.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
So, and then
ma'am.
it's out. The other thing I wanted to say is the need to, what's rooted in the need to want to hold on to, I personally have someone who caused me pain. I'm going to have to deal with them shortly, intimately, and I don't want to. I don't want to ever see him again, but I'm going to have to.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
like, so I've been really triggered by that, like thinking about it and how much, like, all the things they did and how much, and like, how can I just, and I'm suffering because of it. They're not. What do I do? So I'm really trying to work on just releasing that. So that's my process this week.
Yes.
I love this book, but I'm been struggling with that a lot. I've been struggling with that this week, but I'm getting better. I feel, I can sense I'm sensing growth. Yeah, I'm growth.
Yeah, me too, Cheryl. And it will be the work of our life. And yet, um, this quote, let the fear and pain come up into your heart. That's the part we don't want.
Yeah, that's true. I'm always in fight mode. Fight.
Exactly. I mean, you've spent your whole life.
And yeah, fight
So
mode
it's an
is my go-to.
entirely different thing to say, let the pain, let the fear and the pain come up into your heart where you think it could kill you. I think at some level, we remember the original pain, the original energy block. We were 3 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, whatever the age was for you, it was somewhere between 0 and 10. So it's a child's decision that is now ruling your whole life. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a child's level of fear, survival fear. So it
Mm-hmm.
really is around survival. I will die. I won't exist. In some way, I will not be safe. So that's the original. Let that fear and pain come up into your heart. The trick is pass through. What does that even look like? Pass through. But
Yeah.
it's like staying in that seat, pass through. And then this line, this is the beginning and the end of the entire path.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
the entire path. Like if we could actually return to the seat and operate in this way and breathe
This,
and release, whatever it is,
yeah.
that's the entire path. Can you imagine how fucking simple an
Right.
experience of freedom and peace could be?
Right. Right.
You surrender yourself to the process of emptying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not no, it's not be quiet, it's not turn it down. It's somehow, and we're going to explore that a little bit. Just like, what is the sensation of that release? So good, Cheryl. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Who's next? We could waste time or it could just be you now.
I guess it's me.
Oh, I see that. Mike.
Yep. Let's see. First, I guess I want to piggyback on what Michelle said earlier, right? That the chapter on the thorn really resonated with me as well. And I'm very familiar with that contraption that I have built strapped to myself to protect myself.
And I bet you're particularly slick at developing that contraption.
Oh, and it's beautiful. You'd love it. Anyway, but the difficult component of that for me is, what do I look like if and when those thorns, that thorn, whatever is removed, that's the thing that I struggle with is I know me with my thorns and my protection around that's what I know. That's the me that I know. And I don't know the me or what that would look like, what I would look like if that were missing. You understand? And I
I
mean,
understand the habit of your mind to go there. I understand that.
yeah, but it's also the me that I know. I don't know the me without that.
I disagree. I'm sorry, but we spent time together recently and
Yeah.
you and you remembered a you that is different than that. But you often mostly forget. So I'm going to ask you to return to what is the feeling that you want to have when this change occurs as a result of our time together. What was that feeling for you? What is that feeling for you?
More happiness, less personal judgments, but more happiness, more
Yes.
openness.
So just take a minute with me or 2 seconds and put happiness in your container. Remember your happiness because you do have a memory of it. And you do have a memory of that you when you're more in it. True or not true?
Yes, I agree. It's true. Yeah.
So speak to me from there. What does that feel like? More happy. Describe it.
Well, it's a loosening of my chest, my protective mechanism, my thing that I built around myself. So it's a loosening of that, an opening of that.
And what else? What does happiness feel like? More happy feel like?
I don't know. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. If I don't know. I'm not there right now.
You know when you were there?
Yeah.
Describe it from that memory.
Well, I know that there's a lot of love and tolerance and acceptance and just beauty and recognition of beauty. Yeah, these
Yeah.
are all these are all things that I do recognize if I put myself back there in that state. So I
Yes.
remember them, but it's just I don't live them now.
Understand. So repeat what you said because that was really important. I really feel it when you say recognition of beauty because I think you have an artist's soul. I feel you have an artist's soul. And so beauty in particular is deeply moving to you.
Yeah, agreed. Yes.
Recognition of beauty and love and tolerance.
Yes,
What else did you say?
I think that's kind of
That's a lot.
it.
Yeah, that's a lot. Love and tolerance and acceptance and recognition of beauty. Do you have that written down anywhere?
I will.
Good. Thank you. Who's next? Melody.
Good morning. Um, yeah, so when I was first creating, what I wanted to get out of this experience, it was, freedom. And since we've been having this discussion, I've noticed everywhere where there's not that, and it's becoming very clear to me how much control I need to have over everything in my life and what suffocation and suffering that causes. And so something I deeply connected to in reading this this last, you know, portion of the book was like when Michael Singer explained at the end of chapter 10 that having such an experience of freedom can be liberating. And like that is like something that I just like envision for myself as being liberated. And that would look like just having joy and fun and being deeply connected to everything around me, you know, people and nature and the world that I live in. I I live in Hawaii. I live on a small little island in Hawaii, and it became very clear to me yesterday that I don't even get to enjoy. I don't even enjoy where I live. Like I haven't even connected to where I live. And it's just like it could be anywhere right now because I don't allow myself to just like experience it. I still brought whatever fears I had with me, whatever challenges I had with me, I brought here. And it's just the same life in a different place.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for liberation from all of
Yeah,
that.
liberation. So describe to me with all of the drama possible what liberation feels like for you. Be super
um,
dramatic.
yeah, you're gonna make me cry.
Good.
um,
Because that's feeling it.
I mean, I see myself like dancing on the beach, like just like letting myself go and like doing cartwheels on the beach and dancing on the beach and hugging people around me, hugging strangers maybe even, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Liberation, freedom of expression and love, connection.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you,
This section of
Melody.
the book really resounded with me. The thorn, I think it was Michelle that brought up the thorn. It was like
Yeah,
really resounded with me.
I
Yeah.
know. I always remembered the shenanigans around the thorn. It's like, oh my God, so ridiculous. Thank you, everybody who showed up this morning and who contribute already to such a vibrant, useful conversation. I had to remind myself again today about where did I write this down? Here. I am not interested in an exchange of ideas where we can continue to justify our diminishments or imprisonments. It's easy to get into a place where we're talking about that. I'm just not interested in an exchange of ideas where we can continue to justify our suffering. So, and that's what's happening. I'm so grateful that it's you and that we're here, and that's the quality of the conversation that we are having. So, I want to share with you my notes that sort of represent overview. That's something that I'm attempting to do for each of our sections. And these are my notes. You can write them down or not. So, first, change is the first thing that came up in this section. And our triggers around change, our fears around change, our concerns around change, our need for change, whatever it is, right? And I love this line, no expansion or evolution can take place without it. No expansion or evolution can take place without that change. So, am I the only one that wants evolution? I don't think so. Do you want expansion? Hand in the window. Are you interested in expansion? Are you interested in your own expansion? All right, so that means we got to accept the discomfort of change. Yes, Mike, I'm talking to you. Oh, what just happened? Looks like you're done talking. What happened? I saw a note. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I see. The Zoom window starts to put its own things up. All right, 2, fear equals a block in the flow of energy. Fear is the same as equals a block in the flow of energy. And then I want to talk a little bit about the role of our primary childhood patterns. The first and primary block: contortion, constriction, survival mode. The value of understanding that primary pattern is, in my experience, the beginning of real liberation. And I know a lot about it because I do a lot of work around it. But one of the primary deep retreats that I've done for about 10 years and continue to do is about identifying, naming, and releasing that childhood pattern. And I'll tell you what, naming it is the beginning of the tipping point. So we could all name it and say, well, it's self-sabotage, it's limiting, but I mean literally naming it with a name that has never existed before. And all the years I've been doing this work on childhood patterns, I've never heard the same name used twice. People try to because they want to use like these existing terms, but I'm like, no, in your words, from your childhood, from your trauma, what is the name of this pattern? And once it has a name, the game has changed. And then next, next, let the fear, pain come up into your heart and pass through. So we've got our fear, and then there is pain usually associated with that. Let the fear and the pain come up into your heart and pass through. This is the beginning and the end of the entire path. Simple, Simon. Hard, difficult, yes. Simple, yes. You surrender yourself to the process of emptying. I love that term because it helps me understand what it is I'm trying to do in this witness seat. That's the releasing and the letting go, instead of the hanging on and justifying how it has to be this way. It's always been this way. It's all I know. It's the hands open, not the hands closed. And what comes to my mind, and then next is let go now or fall. And fall, Sam, is down. That's why why you sense it up. Falling is down. And I'm going to show you down. I am going to share my screen. And, oh, it might affect my audio. Let me tell me if it does, because it might only be able to share one thing at a time. Is my audio still okay? Can you hear me? This is the thumb for it's good. It's good. Okay, thank you. So this is something that if you've done any work with me, you've already seen. It is called the Map of Human Consciousness. And it is from a book called Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And once I saw this, it changed everything for me. And so when you look at it, down the left column is the name of the level, but you'll recognize it. At the top, enlightenment, peace, and joy. At the bottom, shame, guilt, apathy. Those are the names of the levels, but they're states, essentially. Predominant emotional states. And there's also a column called predominant emotional states on the other side of all those numbers. And they're just other ways of referencing it. So at the top, there's enlightenment, name of the level, and an emotional state, ineffable. The name of a peace, the name of the level, the emotional state, bliss. Joy, serenity, love, reverence, reason, understanding. It's all at the top. At the bottom, shame, humiliation, guilt, blame, apathy, despair, grief, regret, fear, anxiety. Okay? And David Hawkins is considered the father of kinesiology, which is essentially muscle testing to determine the truth of things, based on the idea that the body cannot lie and the body knows everything. That there is a version of us, and let's just say that's the seat of consciousness, that knows everything, that is not deluded and distracted by all the drama. So he used this muscle testing to determine the energetic vibration of these emotional states. So if you look at the bottom, the vibration of shame or humiliation is 20, the literal energy vibration. And at the top, the energy vibration of, let's say, peace or enlightenment is 600, 700. And so in this book, you probably remember a reference of when we get caught up in the fear, when we're in that state of fear or blocked energy, which equals fear, it drags us down this chart, down energetically. And remember, the very first chapter was about energy and feeling energy. It traps us, drags us down into the lower energy vibration where we experience anxiety, regret, despair, blame. You can spend a lot of time in blame, but, guilt, humiliation, shame, all that. It's not a very resourceful energy. It's very difficult to get out of it. And that's why in this book, the counseling, the coaching is how quickly can you let it go so you don't have to be down there trying to deal with it. Because once you're dragged down, your vibration is dragged down. We don't have as much resource to find a better response. We're like in it. So our childhood pattern for most of us is that 20, 30, 50, 70, 100 vibrational range. It brought us there. And some of us are more stuck there than we wish, still in that childhood pattern. So I'm going to stop sharing that. And I am going to send you that graphic. It might not be today if you don't mind, but it will be. I'll include it when I send out the recording of today's call. Let go now or fall. And that's what he means by fall. You're going to fall into that lower vibrational state where that colors your entire experience of life. And I have this image of holding on to a boulder and trying to stay above the water line. Like, but really what's happening is that as long as I'm holding onto that boulder, I'm going down. I'm going to drown. But I could let that go and lift. Pain is the price of freedom. That's the last note for the overview. Pain is the price of freedom. So the whole idea about the thorn and just taking it out is just let yourself experience the pain and then let it pass. Pain is the price of freedom. And we spent our whole life, because we were kids when it started, avoiding pain. No kid wants pain. Nobody taught us to feel that pain. And I want to, maybe another way of helping you think of this, I appreciate what Michelle was saying about forms of medicine that help us release pain in the body, like energetic channels and acupuncture and acupressure and massage. But I'll tell you, there's one predominant methodology of releasing pain in the body that is showing up a lot in my world, and that is go into the pain. It's not avoid it. It's like you got to find that pain spot. And then, like what I've been coached by my chiropractor and anybody who's worked with me on fascia release, is you have to find that pain and then lay into it, press into it to get the release, right? It's like you get on your rolling tube and you find that spot in your thigh or your hip or whatever, and you roll back and forth and you go, ow, motherfucker, ow, ow. And then you find the worst of the spot and then you rest there a little bit. And you're like, and then you breathe. And then there's a little melting that happens. Now, of course, it's back because the way I'm walking and holding myself and all these other things, keep. But have you had that experience? That's what we're talking about. Maybe more elusive, but so I want to try a little experience now. And so, what do you know about your childhood trauma, pain, pattern, or what do you know, whether you know it's from childhood or not, is like one of your primary points of pain that just keeps coming up? What would you call it? What is a brief way of describing it? Let's just take a moment with each person and say what you know about it. I know for me, it has something to do with not being seen or heard, feeling invisible, and like I don't matter. Cheryl?
For me, it's clear. It's validation.
Not feeling validated.
Right. So
What is the
this
what's the pain?
this abuse happened. You go to somebody and they're just like, so that's the core. So now then you
The
sort of
core, Cheryl, isn't the original crime. It's the going to somebody that
Yes.
you trusted that did
validate. Didn't
not
do anything, but
validate. Find
so
a couple of other
now-
words for that.
Protect.
Yeah. Or believe or
I think they believed. They just
okay.
didn't, so it's So I
They
think
didn't do
that's
anything.
the core, right?
Yes.
It's like
Brilliant. Brilliant. Perfect. Thank you. Next. Who's next? What can you say about yours? Mike, you got pretty clear about it, right?
Mm, not at the moment.
So when we had our time together, you seemed pretty clear about, a childhood position, like where closed kind of came from.
Yes, yes, yes. Not feeling protected, not feeling
Yeah.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's it. Perfect. Who's next? What's yours? Michelle.
I'm just sitting here thinking of how to term it, but I think one of the things would be that I had to with my mom was she was just not a very lovey, huggy person. So I was always like, hey, 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 come on, I'm trying to, yeah. So there's something to do with that and having to work that hard just to be loved.
Just to get loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Having to
Yeah.
work so hard to get loved.
Like,
Oh,
hi,
that
mom.
strikes me so deeply. I feel so true, based on me knowing you and feeling you and knowing the source of so much pain.
Yeah.
Even still, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
childhood patterns do,
That's-
is they just keep us in that loop.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And, at some level, feeling not lovable.
Yeah, but I am lovable, so I'm just going to say that right now here. But yes, there is
10-4.
that. There
I
is that
understand.
thing to
Yeah.
let go
Yep.
of that thorn. Poof,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. Hand in the air. Thank you, Melody.
For me, it's not feeling good enough, and then just feeling that there's nobody. There's like I'm on my own. There's nobody has my back, you know. And then with that being said, moving into what Mike said, like the world is a really unsafe place. My home was a very unsafe place growing up. So that has had me be like, the world is an unsafe place.
Got you. Well said. Thank you. Sam?
Well, I guess I can kind of relate to what Melody said. It's kind of, it felt very unsafe. So there was trust. There was a sense of neglect and violation. So yeah, just unsafe, lack of trust.
Yeah, really neglect and violation. I felt that hard. Thank you. Barbara?
I would have to say fear
Hmm.
predominated, and the last thing that you mentioned, feeling like I didn't matter.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Simple.
So if you could all just bring that, let that be up right now. Just let that be up. We just stirred the pot enough to activate it a little bit. And instead of it being like the thorn, and we're just going to do everything we can to avoid it, we're going to just let it be up. I want to just make sure that you can hear this music. I'm going to turn on this music. Can you hear that music? This means you can hear it. And you can hear my voice as well. I'm going to get the Valerie. So this means you can hear my voice and the music. Everybody, beautiful. Okay, so if you would just get comfortable and close your eyes, and we're just gonna let that pain be with you or be present. Feel the pain and view it as energy. Just start seeing these pain points, these traumas, the neglect, the abuse, the disappointment, the feelings as see these inner experiences as energy passing through your heart. And before the eye of your consciousness. Just breathing. Just see it as energy passing through your heart. And before the eye of your consciousness. And with this next breath, relax a little more. Just inhale and exhale. Do the opposite of contracting and closing. Just breathe in and breathe out. And relax and release. Still seeing this memory, these experiences, these points of pain as energy passing through your heart and before the eye of your consciousness. Inhaling. Exhaling, relaxing, and releasing. Relax your heart until you are actually face to face with the exact place where it hurts. And inhale and exhale. Stay open, receptive. So you can be present right where the tension is. Inhale. Exhale. Just be willing to be present right at the place of the tightness and pain. And then inhale and exhale. Relax and go even deeper. Inhale, exhale. This is very deep growth and transformation. As you relax and feel the resistance, the heart might want to pull away or close to protect and defend itself. But keep relaxing. Relax your shoulders. Relax your heart. Let go and give room for the pain to pass through you, even if it's just a little bit. It's just energy. Just see it as energy and let some of it or all of it go. On the other side of the pain is ecstasy. On the other side is freedom. Your true greatness hides on the other side of that layer of pain. Your freedom, happiness, liberation, peace lives on the other side of that layer of pain. That's just energy. Inhale, exhale. So open your eyes. I wanted to just have an experience together of mostly what we're up to here, even if just a little tiny taste. This is mostly what we're up to here, is falling back, witnessing, letting it move up, breathing, exhaling, letting go even a little bit from that witness seat. We are at 10:30, so honoring our time, we're going to return next week to part 3, call 3, which is, I'm sorry. We're going to return to part 4, call 4, going beyond. It's pages 111 to 137. I do have extra time if you want to stay and share your experience. I'm here to listen. If you have time to write it down a little bit and leave yourself a good note, that would be great. And you can just pop out of this call as you need to. But I will stay if you want to share anything about that experience.
No, no, no. I'm unmuted here. Hang on.
Barbara,
I
are
should-
you,
oh.
okay, Melody, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just in the releasing and letting go, like there is a space for creating. There was this like, okay, what happened happened, and what you didn't get, you didn't get, but like you can create that now. Like you're not alone. You could bring people into your life. You could bring, people around you and connect to. Like it maybe isn't the people that you wanted to as a child, but you still have that experience. I have two children of my own, and I oftentimes focus on like what I didn't get, what can I provide to them? And there's just this wanting, to 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 take control, like in a different way of not like controlling, but controlling like I I can bring in what I want, you know. It doesn't have to be that I didn't get it and so I just don't get it.
I really love what you're saying, that you felt, even for a little bit, the space of potential. That's what creation is. It's
Yeah.
new potential in the space that got created in the micro little bit of letting go that you were able to do in that moment.
Yeah.
What a promising experience.
Yes. And
Yes.
it's a matter of holding on to that little glimmer of like potential and like doing something with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my guess is the better we all get at stepping back in this seat of witness and separating from all these objects, memories, patterns, etc., that you don't have to hold on to this. You actually just keep revisiting it
Mhm.
as you fall back and
Mhm.
healthily detach so that you have actual experience of something else. You just had an experience of creation
Yeah.
in the space. Like, what if that's what exists there outside of the drama?
It's this state of victimhood, you know, that I hold myself in of
Yes.
like,
It's a
my
giant
mom did
down
this, my
drag.
dad did this, and like I didn't get this, and like so that feeling of unworthiness, that feeling of being unlovable, like like do I really need to carry that around with me? Because that's how long have I not lived with my parents? How long have I
I
not
know,
like lived
right?
in
How
their
long am
world?
I going to keep paying this price? Well, I say paying this price, but the price, pain is the price we pay for freedom. Like, just feel it
Yeah.
from this vantage point and let it go. It's like, you got it. You know it. I see it. I've been around the bend about it. And when I'm doing the deeper work of childhood pattern, really getting, it's called beyond limiting patterns. It's that life that we want to live beyond that limiting pattern. A lot of what we're doing is processes, breath work and anger work and all these things to get the release. And in that release, we find the new space where our greatest expression of ourselves is living and even knows what its name is, just like the pattern knows what its name is. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you.
Barbara?
Yes, I wanted to ask about the pages that you want us to cover in the next week. Did you say up to 137?
Uh-huh, yeah, it's part 4. So we're just going
Yeah.
part by part, you know, and the intro has it broken down that way.
Okay.
Also, it is pages 111 to 137.
Okay, perfect. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Have a
All
lovely.
right.
Thank you.
See
Bye.
you. Mike, is there anything you wanted to express or say?
Uh, no, I'm really appreciating this. So, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I was just actually just typing you a note saying that I'm going to drop off and that I will talk to you on Monday.
Okay. Bye, guys. I'm going to leave too now.